Since I was a kid, I've been fascinated by stories. Not just the what, but the how. How lives change. How moments unfold. I realize the answers, they aren't always in books, but they're with people too. That's why we started this show, to uncover the extraordinary in the everyday, one story at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to ACTV Storytellers. This is a show where we chronicle the lives of fellow Anderson Countyans who have made a positive and lasting impact in our community and beyond. For today's show, we would like to welcome to the Storyteller stage Stanley and Ronnie Fox, two brothers who, along with their family, have made a huge impact in our community. Across generations, their family has built more than a business, they've built a legacy. Join us as we hear the remarkable story of their journey, the value that... Sorry, let's start over. I jacked that up. I've never done that before.
I've never messed up an interview.
I know. I've never... I don't know what that means.
It means the rest of it's going to go really good.
Well, here's what it means. It means I wrote it about 2 hours ago, and I should have written it earlier than that. That's what it means, because normally when I've written it, I kind of get it memorized. But anyway, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to ACTV Storytellers. This is a show where we chronicle the lives of fellow Anderson Countyans who have made a positive and lasting impact in our community and beyond. For today's show, we would like to welcome to the Storyteller stage Stanley and Ronnie Fox, two brothers who, along with their family, have made a huge impact in our community. Across generations, their family has built more than a business, they've built a legacy. Join us as we hear the remarkable story of the journey, the values that have guided them, and the impact that they have made on our community. Gentlemen, yes, welcome to ACTV Storytellers, and thank you so much for being willing to do this.
Thank you for having us.
Well, when Ryan and I started this show, people would email us and talk to us about, you should interview these people, you should interview those people. And I got a personal phone call about you. You were on a vacation, I'm told.
Yes.
And we're sharing some of the story that you guys are going to share today. Gary Bates called me out of the blue, and that initially made me suspicious of you two. You know, I was like, because you can tell a lot about the people hang around with.
No, he's like E.F. Hutton. When Gary Bates speaks, you listen.
Well, when we were having dinner to go over this initially, I thought it was funny, or lunch. I thought it was funny that the server at the table came over and said that Gary Bates had called and said that I should be arrested. I mean, I don't know how he ran us down, but he did.
He's a character.
Anyway, your family business, Fox Toyota, is associated with Clinton. It's Fox Toyota of Clinton as long as anybody can remember. In fact, that logo was on the back of my personal vehicle, Fox Toyota.
Yeah.
But that isn't where things started for you guys. Talk about where you were born, your early life, and how things got started for you guys.
Yep. Go ahead, Stan.
Well, we was born in Knoxville, and our dad started business in Lake City. I guess it's what Rocky Top is now. Mm-hmm. And he'd drive back and forth to Clinton every day. And
yeah, we went to school in Clinton. We went to school in Lake City.
Started in Lake City.
I went to school first grade and second grade in Lake City, and we moved to Clinton finally when I was in third grade. And I think you was what?
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade. Mm-hmm. But we started out in Lake City. That's where he started his business, in Lake City. And we're going to talk about that a little bit.
When we spoke, I was amazed at how much of an entrepreneur and a visionary that your dad was. Share some of his business ideas and like how some of them developed even like on the spot.
Oh.
I mean, he would hear somebody say, we need this, and then he would start a business.
He was a visionary. He really was. Dad, of course, was raised down in Dutch Valley and went to school in Olive Springs. And when he got out of high school, he joined the Army and went to the Army. And while he was in the Army, he was in California, and he was in a tank, and the tank had an accident. It rolled down a bank, and he broke his back. And when he was in the hospital, I think, still. He went for 2 or 3 months.
He was in the hospital a long time.
And they discharged him, and he come home, and when he decided to come home, he was going to get in some kind of business, and he went to Lake City, and I don't know if he actually started the business or if he bought the business, but he went into the Shell service station business in Lake City, and that Shell station's still there, right as you go into this end of town. And he started that business and ran that business for a few years, and this was right around, I don't know, 1940 or something like that. And that's about the time Oak Ridge was starting up, you know. And they were, I think that was the Manhattan Project down there, and they was needing people to work, and people was trying to get jobs, and they were hiring a lot of people, but people didn't have any way of getting down there. So he came up with Fox Bus Lines. He started a bus line and was hauling people from Lake City to Oak Ridge to work. And Uncle Lester, our uncle, told us at one time, he worked for him, and Lester was real young, but he said they had so many buses. They were doing such a good job. They kept adding buses and adding buses. And it said at one time they got up to 103 buses running.
People just coming from everywhere to Lake City to catch a bus.
Yeah, but he was going there. They gave him Jamestown, Oneida, wanted him to go, I think, Kingston. He had buses everywhere bringing people to Oak Ridge.
So he just saw, when they started the Manhattan Project, he just saw the need for transportation for a workforce and started to supply that need.
Yep, ran that bus lines. I think he would go up north and buy used school buses. I think's what the story I heard. Mm-hmm. He was just buying old used school buses and running them to Oak Ridge and back.
Huh.
And but that's how he really got started in the car business, because he would haul those riders to Oak Ridge, and people, he heard the people, he would drive one sometimes too. I guess he had trouble getting drivers, that many, but he could hear people on the bus saying, well, we're making pretty good money now, we're going to buy us a car. And that turned a light bulb on. He said, if they're going to buy a car, I'll just go get some cars and park them on the side of the Shell service station. And when they want to buy a car, I'll sell them a car, and I didn't carry the paperwork on them. So that's how he started getting in the car business, was hearing them people on that bus talk about they're going to buy them a car.
So you guys, your dad started a gas station, a service station in Lake City, and that expanded into a busing company.
Busing company.
And overhearing conversations on the bus expanded to selling cars.
Selling cars, that's correct.
And at one point, he was doing all three at the same time.
That's correct, yeah. He was doing all three at the same time.
So he just sleep when he could, I guess?
I guess. I wasn't around at that time, but I hear these stories. You know, our Uncle Lester's filled us in on all this, because Lester was a big storyteller, and he actually worked for Dad. But that station is still there, and out the back of that station is all the garages they worked on those buses. There's a bunch of garage doors back through there, and it's still standing there where they worked on all those.
Wow.
But,
so you said your dad saw military service. How do you think that part of his life shaped him and his values, his military time?
I never really heard him talk about the military much. Did you?
No, he never really.
No.
I never heard him really talk about it. I think it probably did, because the military will shape you up.
Mm-hmm.
We wasn't in. Well, Stanley was in the military. He was in the Air Force, but I never was in. But we did go to military school, and that makes you. He sent us to military school my freshman year, and he went 2 years. But that kind of puts a little bit of, straighten you out a little bit.
Right.
What you need.
Well, it seems like he had a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, because when he set his mind to something, it seems to have come to pass.
Yep.
Running three businesses at once, I just think that's so unique that
Really?
he heard the conversation of people.
Really?
I think at the same time he was running those businesses, because I can barely remember this, he had a laundromat in Lake City, and we had a cafe.
Well, cafe, that used to be the main drag through there.
Yeah.
That's for the interstate. You come down 25W. He actually met our mom on that school bus. She had a job as secretary in Oak Ridge, and she was riding his bus when he met her. But a few years after that, after they got married, he built a restaurant beside. It's called Fox's Diner, and it's been there for years.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think it just closed, but it's still it was under the same name.
I've eaten there many times.
Yeah. My mother
hot roast beef sandwich. It was always open with mashed potatoes and gravy. You couldn't lose.
But he ran the station, and she ran the Fox's Diner. So really, he was running 4 or 5 businesses at once.
Wow. So let's talk about your mom for a minute. She was a hard worker. What role did she play in all these businesses? I mean, I know she ran the restaurant, but I mean, were there other roles that your mom played?
She ran that restaurant. She hated that restaurant. She ran it for years, and she said that's the hardest business, because said she would cook all day long, and then the nighttime shift wouldn't show up, and she'd have to work all night long. And she said that's the roughest business she could be in. But after she went to work for her dad, and she ran the office.
She was a bookkeeper.
She was a bookkeeper, kept all the book, paid all the payroll. She was the office personnel for her dad. And I remember one time, I'll tell you this story right quick. She worked. She said she was never so happy when the IRS came in and said, "You're working for free, so you can't do that in business. He has to pay you." And she said, "Really?" She said, "I'm gonna get a check," and the IRS said, "You have to pay her to be here."
So, watching your parents, what sort of impact do you think that had on you guys as kids? I know your sister too worked in the business.
Yes.
So, what sort of impact watching them and their commitment to their jobs? How did that impact you guys as kids growing up?
It must have really impacted us a lot because he was a workaholic. He'd go in every morning, work. I remember he'd run home at dinner about 5 o'clock. Mom would have supper ready about 5 o'clock, and he'd go back to work and work to closing time. So that must have rubbed off on us because that's what we did. We were there from opening to close.
78 hours a week.
Yeah, every day of the week. So I think he just instilled in us a good work ethic that you had to be there to run that business. And
well, especially a family-owned business like what you guys had.
we tried to always keep a family member there. When somebody was gone, we tried to always do that. Although we had great employees.
Yeah.
You know.
You guys, I know, just to let the cat out of the bag a little bit, when I bought my car, I bought it in 2020.
Uh-huh.
And it was, I mean, there was a salesman that was working with me, and I came in, and you were inside, and you hollered at me, and you said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking to buy a car." And you and I talked for a little bit, and I went home that day. And I told I didn't buy it that day. It was still a few days, but I told my wife, I was like, "I'm gonna buy a car from up there," and it was largely because you were there, and when you talked to me, and you're like, we'll take care of you, and it was, and that's what I needed to hear.
We wanted to be accessible. A lot of dealers hide out and don't talk to the public, but we had our office right in the front door. Anybody could walk in our office anytime if they had a problem or whatever they needed. We were there. We were out front.
That's pretty demanding, though, isn't it, to be open and available that time?
It is, but I think you need to do that. Them customers are your customers. You need to take care of them.
Yeah.
And you're talking about our dad being a workaholic. When I got out of college and I started to work, it was 4 uncles, my mother, and me. And I got to work at 8 o'clock in the morning and worked till closing every night, 6 days a week. And if you went to the auction at Lenore City with Uncle Lester on Fridays and you stayed out till midnight or 1 o'clock, you was back at work at 8 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah.
So
no sleeping in?
No. So one day, my 4 uncles got together and they decided that they was going to start taking a day off apiece. So they started who wanted this day, who wanted that day, and they got through picking their days. And I said, "What about me?" And they looked at me and said, "You ain't been here long enough."
So you still had to work 6 days a week?
I just still work.
But we finally talked them into letting us have a day off because once we had families, you had to mow your yard.
Yeah.
They finally gave us a day off.
I think it's I guess Sundays didn't count. That was kind of a given day off.
Never worked on Sundays. No.
We never opened on Sunday.
So you mentioned, Stanley, you mentioned your Uncle Lester. Sounds like your Uncle Lester and your dad made quite a 1-2 punch in the early days of their business. How did they complement each other, and how did they work together, your dad and your Uncle Lester?
I think Lester always looked at my dad as a father instead of a brother.
Yeah.
Because he always looked after Lester, and Lester was driving buses, and he was 13 years old.
Is that legal?
No. But matter of fact, he got stopped one time by a state trooper, Lester tells, and the state trooper said, "I have seen you driving this bus. I want you to meet me at the courthouse steps tomorrow. We're going to get you some driver's license." And he was 13 years old. But Lester did. He said Dad always took really care of him when Lester was the baby of the family. Mm-hmm. And he'd always say when he was going out on a date, Dad would always ask him, "You got enough money for your date tonight?" Dad took care of him. But they were a good team. Dad had the vision, but Lester, buddy, he was the best car man there ever was.
Best.
He could remember a car. People would come up there all the time, ask him what cars were worth. And he could go up Ohio or wherever. One time he went and bought like 100 cars. And he could come back and never wrote nothing down. And he could remember every part that every car needed before the car got there. And he'd have everything there. When the cars rolled in, if it needed hubcaps or if it needed moldings or whatever, he had it all ready to go.
Sounds like your dad was an idea man, and Lester figured out how to put feet on it.
That's right. That's exactly right. They were a great team. They worked good together.
So you guys, your father started the business in Lake City, but then another opportunity, and he saw an opportunity in Clinton. Can you talk about how that transition happened? How the businesses went from Lake City to Clinton?
Of course, he still had the gas station. He was running the car lot, and then he had mother was at the restaurant, and mother was tired of that restaurant. And I don't know, he just come in one day, and it's the story I hear, and he said, "We're going to sell out everything here, and we're moving the Fox Toyota it was Fox Motor Company. So we're going to move to Clinton." So he come to Clinton, and he bought that property right where Rusty Wallace Chevrolet is now. That was our old lot. He bought that property. Opened April 18th, 1953, I think it was, because he said it snowed that day. He had a warm
in April.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Him and Denny Worthing was our uncle, and that was his brother-in-law, and they opened that little car lot on April the 18th, and it had a one little room building. I don't even think it had a bathroom in it, but I got pictures of it. Just one little low room building.
It's pink, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah.
I think it was pink
But
building.
he just sold out and moved to Clinton and got in full-time car business.
We still live in Lake City.
Yeah, we still live in Lake City.
So you don't know how that transition happened. He just decides we're going in full-time car business.
He said we're going full-time car business. I never asked Lester. I should have asked him how all that did, but I never knew. I mean, he just decided one day that he was going to sell out up there. Mother was getting out of the restaurant, and they were coming to Clinton. But we lived in Lake City for years, and he drove back and forth.
It's funny because, you know, the restaurant, you sold it, but it was Fox's Diner for forever.
They kept the name till I think they closed it about a year ago.
I believe the name's still on it.
And they still had Fox's Diner. Cause I went up there and eat one day because they said there's a bunch of pictures in there on the wall of the Foxes. I didn't see any. But I went up there just to look around, and I told the guy who it was, and he was all excited. You know?
So this is a great story. You tell how your family entered into business with Toyota, because you look now at the Toyota dealership and you go, oh man, there's probably a lot of wheeling and dealing and lawyers involved and all. So tell the story about how y'all became a Toyota dealership.
That's a great story, and I love telling it. I've told it 100 times. He was a used car dealer right there where the Chevrolet store is, and Toyota had just come over here from, I guess they set up in California first. And he was trying to set up a network. And they had a representative going out trying to get dealers to sign up to be a Toyota dealer. And this guy had signed up, I think he signed up Crossville and
Let's back up
Capital.
just a minute. He was a used car dealer, but I've heard the story a lot of times when Chevrolet and General Motors and Ford had the new car showing, had the new car date, it was a big production. I mean, the new cars was coming out. And I've always heard a lot of times that when Chevrolet had their new car showing, our dad would have more new Chevrolets on his used car lot than they had the Chevrolet store down the street.
Yeah, he's big Chevrolet, big GM man at the time. And he'd on show day we'd have new Chevrolets. He'd get them somewhere.
he was a big used car dealer for that time of the.
He sure was. But this representative went around trying to get people to sign up, and you could be a dealer if you bought a sign, which was $250, and $1,000 worth of parts. They wanted you to be able to work on them.
So that was your commitment. So a sign and $1,000 worth of parts.
You could be a Toyota dealer if you'd just say yes. But he went all over Knoxville. Nobody would have it, and there was a reason why. At that time, Toyota didn't bring you your new cars. You had to go to New Orleans and pick them up. They just had them stockpiled. They would ship them from Japan to New Orleans. I think it was Baton Rouge. And you'd have to go down there, and they had their own car hauler that would haul 9 cars. He said, that'd be no problem. So he signed up, sent the car hauler to Baton Rouge, brought back 9 new Toyotas, and he was in the Toyota business.
Wait a minute, he signed up. They went to Bergen Dodge on Clinton Highway and talked to a guy named Gene Bergen. He owned that store. And he said, no, I wouldn't be interested in it, but there's a big used car dealer out in Clinton. If you go out there, he'll do a good job for you.
Yeah.
And Gene Bergen sent that
Gene Bergen
Toyota
sent him
rep
out
to Clinton.
Now, at one point, you guys, which is probably would be frowned on today, you guys were selling all kinds of cars off the Toyota lot, right? I mean, like it wasn't just Toyotas. You were selling.
Yeah, anything we could get. Yeah,
Well,
whatever.
Back then, you didn't get a lot of Toyotas. I mean, if you had 8 or 10 in stock, you had a big inventory. You just didn't get a lot of cars.
Well, he took the Toyota franchise, and I think it was in '66. And Toyota really didn't take off to the first gas shortage, and I want to think that was like 72.
Yeah, 71 or 2.
Something like that. There was a gas shortage, remember, and everybody was lined up. So everybody heard about Toyota, and they were coming in there buying them as soon as they come off the truck.
I had bought them before they got off the truck.
yeah.
I said, I'd take that one.
I want one of them because they were, everybody buying them for the gas mileage.
Right,
Then
right.
they turned out to be such good cars. Everybody wanted one, and that's when they really took off.
Yeah.
But I know when the car hauler, we had a body man that would work all day over Bay. He would work all day, go home, take a shower, get in the car hauler, and head to New Orleans or Baton Rouge and get these cars. He loved doing down there. And in the summertime, I'd ride with him, and I'd help him drive a car hauler, and I had no CDL license. I don't know if he had to have them back then or not. But I'd help him. I made quite a few trips in the summer to New Orleans. I'd help him load, and then he'd put me in a truck because he didn't like loading trucks because he's afraid he'd scratch the roof, and make me drive a truck home with no air conditioning. But it was fun.
So your dad was known by most folks by Gene Fox.
Gene Fox.
That was what, but that wasn't always the case. What's the story behind the name?
I don't know if he didn't like his name or he went to Nashville and had it changed. He was named after his dad, wasn't he?
Yeah, his dad was Joseph, and his name was Joseph Kiker. Kiker,
He didn't like
think.
the Cocker.
And I don't think he liked that name, and he told somebody he's going to go change his name. And he went and changed it to Eugene, no middle name, just Eugene
So
Fox.
he was an adult when he
Yeah,
did
he
it.
was
He
an
just
adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he had to go somewhere. I don't know where he went.
I
Nashville.
think he went to
or somewhere.
Nashville.
And he changed his name from Joseph to Eugene. I don't know where that name come from. I have no idea. But everybody called him Gene, after that.
Yeah, and that's how it was from then on.
From then on, yeah.
That's interesting. And you have no idea why he decided to do that?
No idea at all why he changed his name. It wasn't because he was in jail or nothing like that.
I have no idea.
So, how would you describe the business model and the culture that that your dad set up to establish the dealership? What was his foundational principles about how to do business?
His foundation was taking care of that customer. He really did. I've heard all kinds of stories about when he first started. And I think I might have mentioned this story to somebody. He'd tell people he'd take care of that car, whatever happens to it. He told one guy one weekend, he says, "You buy this on Saturday. You buy this on Saturday, and if it gives you any trouble over the weekend or anything happens to it, I'll take care of it on Monday." Well, that Monday morning, that guy rolls in there, and he said, "Gene, you told me that you'd take care of this car if anything happened to it." And he said, "Yes, I did." He said, "Well, I wrecked it." And they said, "You're right. I told you that." And he pulled it in the body shop and fixed his car.
Wow.
He took care. He said whatever he said, he did. And I remember one time back then, a guy bought a Chevrolet and it didn't have a tinted windshield, and he come back really mad because the windshield wasn't tinted. He pulled another car in there and swapped windshields.
Wow.
I can't tell you the number of times I've heard people say, I was out of the military and I came back in and I go in to see your dad and I said, "Gene, I really need a car real bad, but I don't have no money to pay for it. Just go out there, pick you one out, and pay me when you can." And he did that. If you bought a car from him and it tore up 2 weeks later, just park it and go pick you out another one. He took care of the customer.
I'd say so.
He sold a car to a barber here in town, and the barber didn't have all the money. And Gene said, or Dad said, "That's all right. So you go and give him what you got, and we'll take the rest out in haircuts." He was sending us to the barber every Saturday morning to get a burr haircut.
And you never had to pay for it?
Never had to pay for it. Had to mark it off on what he
It was
owed.
a quarter of 35 cents back then anyway.
Yeah.
So you guys, all y'all went to UT, right?
Yes.
That was as y'all described it to me. That was a non-negotiable.
With our mother, that was a non-negotiable. We were all going to get education. Then there was 4 of us kids,
Yeah.
There was.
After our dad died.
Yeah, this was after our dad died.
So, how was it that your family placed such a emphasis on education? Where did that come from?
Neither one of them had a college education. I think probably barely got out of high school. I don't know, but she just had in her mind that her kids was all going to be college graduates. And
Now, that probably came from our dad.
probably did.
Yeah.
And she sent us all to UT. Back then, anybody could get in. Didn't have to have a 4.0 to get in. But we all went to UT and graduated. And when we graduated, the last one Becky did, we all went and rented captain gowns and took a big picture. And I have the picture somewhere. It was in Mother's house for a long time. Mm-hmm. All 4 of us in captain gowns.
She's proud of you.
She was proud of that, yeah.
It's interesting that it was such an important part. Maybe it was an opportunity that they didn't have, and it was something they wanted y'all to have.
Could be, yeah.
Could be, because like you said, I don't know if Dad ever finished high school.
I'm not sure if he did or not. No, he did, because I've got his diploma.
Oh, he did?
Olive Springs, 1936 or something like that.
Wow.
I've got his diploma at home. So he did graduate high school.
Well, you kind of mentioned this a second ago. Let's go ahead and talk. So on a business trip to Nashville, your family got struck with a pretty tough blow. What happened there, and what was that impact on your family?
I was 14 at the time, and you were...
I was a senior. You was a freshman.
We was both going to Castle Heights Military Academy.
Which is in Lebanon.
Right out of Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted us to go to military school because that was right there in the Vietnam War. And he got us thinking if we had military experience and we got drafted to Vietnam, that we'd have more rank and wouldn't go to the front lines.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told him that, and I think that's why he sent us to military school. But he was coming to pick us up for Thanksgiving, 1968, and he was meeting another man down there that night, I think. Insurance man, talk about some insurance project. But anyway, they went to dinner, and on his way home, the story is a car pulled out in front of him, and he swerved and missed the car and hit a telephone pole. And it broke his neck, and it killed him. But the reason he probably had a weak neck anyway, because me and Stanley had a chin-up bar. We used to do chin-up. You tighten it up on the door frame.
Yeah.
And he's in there one day, saw us. He said, let me try that. And by the time he pulled up, it fell, and he fell all the way down on a concrete floor, and it cracked his neck. And he didn't like wearing that brace. He wore it for a while, but he didn't like it.
Right.
So not long after that, he had that accident, and I think that all led to it.
But another thing our dad did, every morning when we was on vacation, he got up and exercised every morning.
He did, yeah.
Every morning.
Yeah.
So what sort of, you guys were young. What sort of impact did that have on you guys as kids to lose your dad at that young age?
It was hard. I think it's hard for anybody to lose a parent, but we come back home. I did the next year. I didn't go back to military school. I came back home to be with Mom because at that time you were in college. And
I graduated.
He graduated, and me and my little sister Becky were there at home. And it was hard on our mom. She really had a rough time. We used to every Sunday we'd go to church and go to Davis Brothers Cafeteria at Oak Ridge and eat. It was down there, and I remember it was every Sunday. And so I remember one Sunday, it was just a normal thing for us to go to church and go down there. And by the time we got in the line, she broke down and she said, "I can't do this."
Right.
I just remember that as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but.
So when your father passed away, there was a big void, but your Uncle Lester stepped in and filled that.
Yeah.
So how important, and I know this is a lot to ask, but how important was he to you guys and the role that he played in your lives moving forward after you lost your dad?
Oh, man, I think he was another father to us.
He was, but we had another uncle. We didn't mention this, but our dad was always into Tennessee walking horses and Shetland ponies, and we put up hay, and we always had ponies in the yard. But when our dad got killed, there was another uncle, Uncle Charlie, that lived in Oliver Springs on a farm. He would be sure we had hay and took care of us on that way. So all the uncles really, well, Charlie and Lester, I guess,
they
was only
stepped
two.
in, but Lester was a big part.
Yeah.
I mean, he took over the business because my mom was still there, but he bought in a part of the business, or they gave it to him or whatever. I'm not sure what they did, but he was in there helping Mom and did a great job. He did Mom run the office, and he took over the front again. Lester at times would rather work on cars than sell cars because he was a big mechanic. He could fix anything.
When I first started there, Lester did all the appraising on trade-ins.
Yeah.
He was a service manager, and he took care of the parts department. Did it all.
Yeah.
And he kind of became filling some of that father role for you guys.
He sure did.
Which speaks well of him to step up at a pretty tough time.
He did. He really did.
Did he did he kind of divide up the roles at the car dealership or did everybody just kind of pitch in and do whatever was needed?
No, I think he divided it up. He told you what you need to be doing, because all of us kids would work there during the summers, and he'd tell us, do this, do that, and you better go do it. But he divided up the roles and gave us jobs to do. You know.
You mentioned your family going to church and then going out to eat afterwards. What role did like your faith and integrity and personal relationships play in your company's framework? I mean, in the business. I mean, how was that? How integral was that to what you guys were doing as a family?
It had to be very integral. They were very. Him and Mom were very religious. We was in church every Sunday morning, every Sunday night. He didn't go on Wednesday nights because he worked, you know.
Right.
But we had every Sunday we had a certain thing we'd do every Sunday. We'd go church in the morning. We'd go to Davis Brothers and eat, and then we'd go see his mom in Dutch Valley and go see my mom's mom in Lake City, and then go back to church. That's every Sunday. But I think it instilled a lot of value in him. He would he wanted to do what was right with people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think he had a lot of integrity that he wanted people to know that he was trying to do the right thing, and he did.
And that was important.
That was important.
So, you talked, Stanley. You mentioned earlier about your dad. You know, there were times somebody would come in and say, you know, I don't have the money for the car, and he'd say, well, go pick you out one. You know, pay us when you can. Did you ever feel like that people took advantage of that? And did you ever think about altering the way you dealt with people because of that?
There's a lot of people took advantage of that. Not people here in Clinton, but he would carry notes on cars over through Briceville and up into Lake City and everywhere. And about once a month, they'd load me with a gas tank, a gas can with gas, an air tank, jumper cables, and I'd go over in Briceville, and people hadn't made their car payments. I'd get their car, and they said, just leave it sitting on the side of the road and go get the next one, and we'll go pick it up.
Yeah.
So it was a common thing that you had to repossess cars.
Yeah.
But he kept doing it.
So he didn't alter or change the approach.
Alter or change it at all.
When I had to go, I didn't want to cut them people mad at me. I said, hey, I'm here. I'm just after the car. The money one is all I know.
Right.
It's either pay me the money or give me the car. And they'd just give you the car.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So as business leaders in our community, which you guys have been for forever, how important is it that the success that you guys have, that you share it with the community?
I think we're the first people for a long time that they would come and want a donation. We gave to Anderson County, Clinton, you know. We were big community supporters. Gosh, I think we gave to everybody that usually come in there. Got to where Becky wouldn't even come and ask us anymore. Somebody come in there and ask her, she'd just write a check. You know, so.
Darren, you mentioned before that you get a thrill out of helping people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about Ronnie and Becky, but I get a thrill out of being generous to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we was.
Yeah. We just try to help everybody we could.
I
mean, some people would ask you for a whole lot more than you could give. You know
right,
what I mean?
yeah, sure.
You kind of had to divide it up and give smaller amounts, but you tried to help them.
What sacrifices did your family have to make to keep growing the business? Because I know, like a lot of times, I've had people. I think sometimes people can see, like, a business what you all have developed, and they may think, well, you know, those guys just got lucky, you know. But the times that I've been up there, one of you all, as you say, one of you all were always up there. Mm-hmm. Didn't matter when I came in. Yeah. Okay, if I stopped in the morning, somebody was there. If I stopped in the afternoon, somebody was there. If somebody in the evening. So what sort of sacrifices did you guys have to make as individuals for that business to keep growing and thriving?
Well, we took a lot of time with that work ethics. It took a lot of time away from our family and our children. Mm-hmm. That's a sacrifice that I see the most that's happened.
Yeah.
But we just hard workers, and that's what was instilled in taking care of people.
I think sacrifice is what you didn't get to spend enough time with your family. Like a lot of nights we'd come home. You know, if you tell people you're going to close at 8 o'clock, they'll show up at 8 o'clock, and then you're there at 10 o'clock. You know what? Yeah. I mean, that's the way it is. And so you'd always be there until you lock the door. But I think a lot of times you go home and your kids are already in bed. You know, if I had to do over again, I'd try to get home more often.
Yeah.
But I told you this story one time. My wife called me, and she says, "Hey, can you come home early and bring pizza? Our son John was having a party."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I go get 3 or 4 pizzas or whatever it was, and I come carrying it in the house, and I set it down at the table, and all them kids were sitting around the table, and I sat down and I started eating pizza with them. And one little boy looked over at my son and said, "You know, the pizza man's never come in and eat with us."
That's pretty funny.
He thought I was a pizza man.
That's a good story. Oh, that's funny. So, you know, the secret to real estate, they say, is location, location, location. You know? So a time came where you guys were forced to make a decision about your location. You know, you first started in the middle of Clinton.
Yep.
And you decided to move things up here to the interstate. So explain that process and how that developed.
Well, let me tell you how all that came about. I mean, as far as the property up there, our dad, like I say, he was a visionary. He could see things. And the interstate back in the 60s, back in the early 60s, ended at Merchants Road, and it ended in Lake City. So he knew it had come through here somewhere, you know. So he went to Nashville, I think, the transportation department. He got the maps and the property owners that was coming through that interchange. And he went and talked to those property owners, and he bought all the property on the upper side, 3 or 4 farms, you know. And then he had a bunch on this side in a contract, and that's when he died. And my mom didn't pursue it; she didn't want to do it. But he bought all that property before the interstate ever came through. We've owned that property probably since 65, 66, probably up there. And then, but we built houses on it, and we all lived up there on the backside because we thought the backside wouldn't be worth anything, and all your service stations and everything would be out on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so Toyota told us back in probably 2005 that they weren't going to approve our property up here anymore because they wanted every Toyota store to look alike. You know, like every McDonald's looks alike and every Weigel's looks alike. And so they had this Image USA, they called it, and they said, "You need to move and build a new building." Well, we didn't really want to do that.
They wanted us to have more acres, too.
Yeah, we only had 4 acres up here, and they wanted to say you got to have at least 9 acres. Is what they thought was for the growth that they.
So they've come a long way from the $250 sign and $1,000 parts.
Oh, yeah. We've been offered a lot of times our money back on that. But so we made a decision back. I guess it was in 2000. We moved up there in 2008, or for a year maybe before that, 2006 or 7. We decided, okay, what we're going to do. The property is worth more than our houses up on the interstate. We're going to tear all of our houses down, grade all that off, and move the dealership up there. So
where did you guys live?
Different places. I moved in my daughter's basement for 2 years down in Auburn Springs. I don't know where you bought a house, South Clinton, I think.
No, I moved into a farmhouse down there C.J. Wills owned.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So you just leveled the whole.
We leveled the whole place, tore 4 houses down back there. Mother had a really nice house. And Stanley told the builder, it was kind of funny. We had the same builder, and he says, "You're the only guy I know that get paid to build a house and get paid to tear it down." But we graded all that off and made all that what it is now because it was a big hill there.
Yeah.
And graded all that and built the dealership right there. And even the road out front, we named it Eugene Fox Boulevard. And the address is actually. Is it the address? 228? Yeah.
228.
It's actually his birthday.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
It kind of came back. So we moved up there to make Toyota happy. Moved up there in 2008. And they were really excited about it. It turned out good. We were scared to death, because make that big a move.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's why we didn't build houses for 2 or 3 years. We lived wherever we could because we just built that place.
Right.
But it all worked out. It did.
So this is a great story. So when it came time for you guys to move the merchandise, from your Clinton, downtown Clinton location to the interstate, you're able to call in the cavalry, so to speak. Talk about that and how you got a little help.
Well, before we moved, Stanley had moved the Chevrolet store up there. So right here, we had Chevrolet and Toyota on the same lot for, a year maybe?
Food City wanted to start building down there before the Toyota lot.
We sold the old Chevrolet store in Food City, where Food City is. So they were after us to get out. If you're going to sell it, we want you out of there. So I think I don't know if we had Toyota approval or not.
We didn't have nobody's approval.
It's probably they didn't get mad at us, but we moved Chevrolet in, and we had Chevrolet and Toyota there both. there was all kinds of cars because Toyota had sent us a bunch of extra cars for our new building. We had them parked across the road. We had them everywhere, and so when it come time, the church I went to at the time had a church bus. And the word got out with a bunch of people there. We was wanting drivers, and everybody's wanting to volunteer and go drive new cars, So we brought the church. They brought a bus, probably 45 people on that bus from the church out there, and we was driving all these new cars up the 4-lane to the interstate. And we didn't have enough license tags, and we called the city and we told the city, said, "Hey, we're going to move all these cars, and there's going to be a bunch of them going up the road with no tags on them." And I think probably the mayor. He said, "Just go ahead and do it. It's okay." No, so we drove all them cars up with no tags on them, parked them. But
So a bunch of people from your church came and just had an opportunity to test drive some
they
new
were mad
cars.
'cause we didn't have more trips. We had about 5 or 6 trips, and then that was all. We got them all done, because we moved a couple hundred cars, and they said, "Gosh, we thought it'd take longer than that, but we moved them in a hurry."
Hey, I'll tell you, back in the earlier days when we started Toyota, they wanted to have all 4 of the area Toyota dealers to have. You can't do this anymore. I think it's illegal to have a joint sale together over at Chilhowie Park, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Chilhowie Park, and we was young, and we didn't have enough salesmen to go over there because people just lining up. And there's people buying cars. We had got 2 mechanics out of the shop. Got Steve Pite Insurance. Steve came over and sold for us.
We had a preacher.
Had a preacher.
Yeah.
And we just didn't have enough salesmen go over.
This is a motley crew of people.
I'm telling you, it was.
We didn't have enough salesmen go over and wait on all those people. And so it was long hours. You was on your feet a lot. And so up later today, them people that worked for those big dealerships, salesmen, they get tired, and our guys just get in line, get another customer. We outsold everybody there.
Yeah, with a bunch of
non-salesmen.
Totally kept saying, "How you doing that?" We said, "We're just anxious to sell. Just want to sell cars."
So I'm curious, what sort of impact did being in business together have on you guys as siblings? Did you ever have disagreements, and how did you work that out?
Yeah, we had disagreements, and a lot of families can't work together. And people would ask us how we work together, being family. But we got along really good. We had disagreements and arguments, and
We did, but if we had disagreements, our mother would settle it.
yeah, she would settle it.
She would settle it.
But we did. We got for siblings. I think we got along really good.
And to be, we worked together. And then we all lived up there together.
Yeah, we lived side by side up there on that before we
We
tore
all
all the
lived
houses
at the
down.
house, and every Sunday.
So you kind of got to figure out how to get along.
Mother had a swimming pool, and we'd
We'd
Sundays
hang
we'd
out
all
there on
meet at
Sundays.
swimming pool. We'd be together all week, and then be together on Sunday afternoons.
So as you guys, as the business continued to flourish, and I know this, for years, in every annual, in every yearbook, in every football program, in every basketball program, you guys have always had an ad.
Right.
You always bought an ad. You always sponsored schools. I know at my school, you guys have always helped us at Christmas with our Christmas projects. At what point did you guys begin to realize the impact that your business was having locally, just on the community? When did you kind of realize that, hey, we're really touching a lot of things here?
I don't think we thought about it much, did we?
I never thought about that either.
I knew we did, but I don't think we really thought about it, cared about it. We just wanted to help people and sell more cars. If it would help us sell cars, we'd do it.
Well, I can tell you this. I've been in the room on the other side when projects started getting developed, and people were like, well, how are we going to get this done? Well, we can go see Fox Toyota. And we start making a list. You guys were always at the top of the list about who we needed to go talk to.
Yeah.
That says a lot about. Because if you guys weren't friendly and willing to be supportive, you wouldn't make the top of the list. But a lot of times when it comes to school projects and athletic teams and things of that nature, you guys are always one of the first people that everybody goes to visit. And I think a lot of that's because they know you guys are pretty open-handed toward people.
Even at UT, University of Tennessee, there was a marketing professor there that actually we sold a car to one time. And every time they needed some special project, we were on top of her list. to help them. And I had a little girl come out there one time, and she says, "My professor said to come here first because you'd teach me how to sell, how to do this."
E.T. Stamey used to always say, "Come to us first because we was the easiest."
Yeah. We hardly say no.
So, an interesting question. How has the automobile industry changed since your father first decided we're going into the car business? How has things changed since then?
It's changed a lot.
They ain't hardly no mom and pop stores is what I consider what we had. Most people go and look for a car. They don't go and say, "I want to look at cars." They go and say on their iPads, "I want to look at this car."
Right.
They already know what they're there to get.
Yeah, used to they'd come shop and they'd look at all your cameras or all your whatever. Now they come in on their phone and say, "I want to look at this car right here," and they know what it's going to cost because price is on there. You know what I mean? It's everything that and negotiation. You don't negotiate anymore. Everything's so competitive. You put the price down there right where you can sell it, and that's kind of gone away. Used to you had to allow a little bit of room for people that's got to trade in. You know, because everybody always thought their trade-in was worth more than it was. You know, of course,
I'm sure.
And so you'd allow enough for that. But nowadays it's different. There's the price, and you give you what your car's worth. And
most of the time, people wouldn't even. Back when we were selling cars, I wouldn't even think about buying a car unless I saw it first.
Oh yeah.
60% of their sales now is on the internet.
Online, they deliver them all over the place now. I mean, I've delivered them St. Louis. I took one of these St. Louis. I've been to Arkansas. I've been Little Rock.
But that's just not Fox Toyota. That's all dealerships.
Yeah. People buying them on wherever they can find. They look it up on the internet, what they want, and they find the car. They call and get a price, and they deliver it to them.
So did that have anything to do with you? Because obviously recently you guys have sold the dealership. Did that have anything to do, just the changing of the business model? Did that have anything to do with the selling?
I don't think it really did. I think the reason we sold was because, we hadn't even thought about selling until this guy calls one day and asked us if we'd sell our dealership, and I told him no. And then he said, "Well, let's talk about it." And he was actually a dealer in Kentucky and Lexington, and he was building a house in Blackberry Farms. And he said, "Since I've got a house down there, I'd like to have a dealership down there." And so I told Stanley he'd call, and Stanley said, "Well, let's at least talk to him." I think they were getting kind of anxious, him and Becky. And so he came, and one thing led to another, and now this guy, we finally sold to him. But since we've sold to him, he's bought one in Lake City, Florida, 5 stores in Cookeville. He's got one somewhere else. He bought a Dodge store. They got about 10 stores now, but they've got a group. It's a conglomerate. But he's really a good man. They've got a really good team, and they try to do what's right.
So when you guys were running your business, how did y'all define success? How did you know? I mean, I know for a business to function, there has to be a bottom line. There's always a bottom line.
Yeah.
If the bottom line's not in the black, that's not good. But there's more. There's more to a definition of success than that. How did y'all define it? What told you guys, hey, Fox Toyota is successful?
Our success was going to eat, wasn't it? This is part of it, but we had a deal that we told all salesmen, if we sell 200 cars this month, we're going to take you out for a steak dinner. And everybody loved going to steak dinner. We'd go to Calhoun's down in
Go to Copper
Cellar down at, they don't have any, it's not there anymore, but they had a private room down there, and they'd so that's what we worked for every month, was go get a Copper Cellar 12-ounce steak.
And the 12-ounce steak, they didn't serve it on the menu. Yeah. They'd cut a 12-ounce steak, and they called it the Ronnie Fox filet. They'd cut a 12-ounce filet just for us.
But that's kind of funny. But that was one of our big motivators. Was to go out and eat. We know if we hit 200, but everybody just worked hard, and I think just selling a lot of cars and trying to be in the top. Toyota lists all their dealers. There's 100. I think there's 122 Toyota dealers in this region. We're in the Cincinnati region. And we always try to be in the top 20, our store. And that's compared to Nashville and Lexington and all over. Now, I think they're about top 10.
Really?
Yeah, they were like 10th last month.
We was really their Cinderella store, too, because our mother became the Toyota dealer, and she was the first woman in the Cincinnati region to be a Toyota dealer.
Really?
They said maybe United States.
Could have been the United States.
See, when our dad died, he'd been a dealer 2 years. So he took the franchise in '66, and he got killed in '68. And when he died, mother became the dealer. And then somebody from California was out here and said she was the very first female Toyota dealer we had in the United States.
So y'all didn't even think about that when your father passed away and your mom kind of took on the lead.
Took it over.
You didn't think that she was being a trailblazer.
We never thought about that. You know, we just want to keep store going.
Yeah,
you know,
interesting.
But I didn't know that for a long time. But that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the president of Toyota Motor Sales USA come to visit our mother in Clinton, Tennessee.
He did, yeah. The president.
Yuki Togo.
Wow.
He was the president in Japan. I mean, he was over the whole.
He was. I think
was over the whole
all
Toyota. Yuki Togo was over
he
Toyota
He was
in
over
Japan.
all of it.
He came all the way here to meet
we
your
got
mom.
pictures of him standing there in front of the showroom, you know, to see mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
His name was Yuki. He's dead now, but
Yuki Togo.
he did come.
That's pretty cool.
Because he had a slogan. He said, sell like hell.
He did.
That's how he did every speech.
No cussing on this show.
So over the course of your career, I know you guys have had some unusual and unique experiences up there. I know we talked about making some deals for mules or donkeys or another thing. So what are some of the funniest stories you guys remember about, from things you sold cars for or traded?
The best one is Oscar Sweet.
We would trade for anything. Whenever they brought it, well, we wouldn't trade for anything, I guess.
Well, our dad started that. Like one time some guy wanted to trade a house in San Francisco, and Dad flew out there and appraised the house and traded him a car.
Yeah.
But I've carried color TVs to my grandmother in Oliver Springs if they'd traded for a TV.
We traded for guns and gun safes. We traded for some guy not long ago when we was in business in Oneida. He traded in a gun safe full of guns, and I think it's like 10 guns in there, and he traded it in.
For a car.
For a car. But the funniest one, of course, we've traded for donkeys, and we traded for a goat one time. My daughter was doing the paperwork, and she said, Dad, how did I write that up? And I said, just put down there one goat.
GOAT.
There's a guy trading in, and we were arguing over the price of the car, and I knew he raised goats. He's from down Dutch Valley. And I said, I tell you what, you throw in 2 goats, and we'll trade. He said, no, but I'll throw in 1. So we traded for a goat. But the funniest one, we had a wholesaler from Tazewell. He'd bought a lot of cars from us. He came down there, and we had an old Malibu or something. I think it was a $300 car, and he wanted to buy that car. And he says, hey, I have traded for a work mule. He said, I want to trade you this mule because I don't have any use for a mule. And he knew we had horses. And we thought, work mule, it'll be worth $300, it'll be worth like that car. He said, I'll deliver it to you. So he delivered it, and he had an old man with him named Oscar.
That was his uncle.
That's his uncle. Oscar come in the car and said, honey, he called everybody honey. He says, honey, you better go home and put another board on that fence.
But he couldn't talk for laughing so hard.
Yeah, he was laughing. And I said, what do you mean another board? You think that mule's going to get over my fence? I had a 4-board wood fence. He said, no, I'm afraid it's going to go under. I said, what are you talking about? And I went home, and the guy, he didn't trade us a mule. He traded us a donkey. It was a little old bitty donkey. He didn't know. I don't know if he knew the difference or he just got one on us. But we finally sold it. I had somebody want to buy a horse one time, and that guy was there, and I was telling him about that donkey. He said, I wouldn't give $50 for that thing. And Stanley was standing. He said, you take it. But we've traded for property. I don't think he'd like to trade for jewelry much. I don't think we traded for much jewelry. But anything. Property.
What did you do with them? What you got them? I mean, like you got animals and TVs, and where did you put them?
Somebody take them home a lot of times. We took the guns.
Took the guns.
I've got a bunch of guns. But just according to what it was, somebody would probably want it, and somebody in the family, and we'd let them have it and take it. But I ended up with the donkey.
Played for a houseboat one time. We all used it all summer.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So your all's journey, I mean, it's interesting. It's there's a lot of turns in it. How do you think it shaped who you are? I mean, like just your family's journey, the car dealership, the vision of your dad, the way you guys have figured out how to work together as a family. How do you think that's impacted you guys personally?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think watching how they work probably rubbed off on us. that you need to be honest and do what's right with the customer. I know they instilled good work ethics in us because that's all we did was work.
But I don't know what kept brothers and sisters from not fighting and hollering all the time. I guess it's just a blessing we got that we worked together and lived together. You know, most people, their brothers and sisters are at it all the time. But of course, we had bad times. But like I said, if we had bad times, our mother straightened it out.
Yeah, I know a dealer in Kentucky. He had two boys and a girl, and he passed away and left it to them boys, and they didn't last any time. They fought, because one of them would work and the other one wouldn't work. Mm-hmm. And we never had that. We were all workers.
That's what happens.
You know,
one wants to work and one don't want to work. But we just all worked.
It's interesting because it seems like to me, like listening to you guys tell your family story, that was going on with your dad and your Uncle Lester too. I mean, like when you talk about your dad owning businesses and your Uncle Lester working on the cars and driving they were already figuring that out, and it seems like that's kind of translated to you guys as well.
Yeah, they were a good team.
So you guys have achieved so much, I mean, in your life and have been very successful in your business. When you look back over it, what are some of the things you're most proud of, and what do you want your legacy to be at Fox Toyota? I mean, what are you most proud of, and what do you want to be remembered for? What you've done?
We're proud of the name on that building because we had a really good name in this community, and that was one of the things when we sold out. They wanted to keep our name. We thought they'd put their name on it. They wanted to keep our name, and that's what they've done all over everywhere they've bought a store.
So they asked to keep the name.
They asked to keep the name, and so we told them as long as they don't destroy that name, if any time we ever want them to change it, they will, and they would. But so far, they've taken care of the customer. He's a good Christian man, the guy that bought it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we'd have sold just to anybody because we had some other offers after the word got out. People called and said, "Here, you might sell." You can't keep anything secret. It got out.
Sure.
It got out in Toyota, and all the dealers. But that's kind of the group that we wanted to sell to because they know how to do right. Mm-hmm. But I think we're most proud of the name we've left in this community.
I don't know if I can tell this story right, but they was running some kind of survey in Knoxville one time, and one of the questions was the most recognized name in the car business in the Knoxville area, and it was us.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something.
It was yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm from this area too, but, I mean, Clinton's not a big town.
No.
I mean, and to have that recognition, that says something for sure.
I like seeing when you go around town, seeing them little Fox stickers on cars. I like seeing that.
I bet you do.
I do. It looks good. And they're selling a lot of cars. I mean, they're selling more than we did. They'll sell over 300 a month up there now. So,
wow.
So they're rolling. I hear they're selling more cars than anybody in Knoxville.
Really?
I've heard that from some people in the credit union business.
So I always like to ask this question of people, and if you could go back in time, travel back in time to visit with your 17, 18-year-old selves, with what would you say to them with the benefit of the knowledge and wisdom that you have at this point in your life? What would you say to yourself if you could go back and talk to the 17, 18-year-old you?
17, 18-year-old me.
You have to I'd tell them that let your word be your bond. If you tell somebody you're going to do it, you do it. And just like I said, you got a thrill out of helping people. I don't go on quoting Bible verses. I know I should, but there's one that really sticks out, and I think it goes for our whole family, and it's Proverbs 11:25, and it says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." And that's why we just always lived.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing how you treat people. It does come around. I mean, occasionally you're going to find somebody that take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, if you are open-handed with other people, they respond in kind. I mean,
they remember when you took good care of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been times in the car business where there'd be some scarce item and people would sell them for way over sticker or way over that. We never did that. You know what I mean? And they come back and they remember when you didn't take advantage of them during those times.
Sure.
When they couldn't find the car.
But just like I was saying, those people that would come in and say, Gene, I need to buy a car, just got out of the service and I don't have any money. Well, they've told their children, we've told their grandchildren. It just went all the way down the line from that first guy all the way down to his great-grandchildren.
We have.
So
we have.
Just went along.
Now, you guys have had like was it Monday night? You guys have had a Monday night Bible study at the.
It's Monday at noon.
Monday at noon, okay.
Yeah.
And you guys have done that for a long time.
I bet 20 years probably.
And it's continuing even after you sold, right?
We had a man that worked for us, and he was a part-time pastor, and he got together and said, we're going to do a Bible study every Monday at noon for the employees. And so we started that, and it's been, even when the new people took over, they couldn't believe it, and they kept doing it. Now they put it in all their stores.
Really?
He said one time, he says, did you ever get any feedback from customers about having that? And I said, it really wouldn't matter. And, you know, we're not going to stop it, you know. So we even had customers would come, and every Monday, make sure they come on Monday to get their service so they can come to the Bible study. And we have outside pastors come. This one guy was doing them all the time, but now we've got outside pastors that they enjoy coming. Yeah. And they'll come and speak. We had one yesterday.
I think you told me when we met, Stanton Martin.
Yeah, he
came and
did a great job.
Yeah, he's a unique kid. I tell you, he's more mature than most adults.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an adult now. He's married and got his own kids. But even when he was a kid in high school, I was like, that kid's more mature than half the adults I know.
Yeah,
he's always had that.
He preached Sunday at Second Baptist.
Yeah,
and you wouldn't think he's as young as he is.
He's got a good mom and daddy though. That helps.
He does.
Yeah.
He got good grandparents too.
Grandparents. You're right.
So that's fantastic. So what's next for you guys? I mean, you guys, you still got plans. You still what do you guys want to do moving forward as Fox family?
Well, I know if I didn't have my hobby, I'd have to be. I still go by the car lot a lot and help them and doing things and see all the employees. But of course, I've got horses. And I can get up every morning and clean stalls and ride my horses. And as a matter of fact, it reminds me when I was at a horse show in Ohio one time, and this guy was 60-year-old, and they made him retire. He was an airline pilot. And they made him retire at 60-year-old back then. I think they go a little longer now. But his name was Bernie. I said, Bernie, what are you doing now since you retired? He said, well, I get up in the morning, I ride, feed the horses, I clean 2 stalls, I ride 2 horses, and then I go mow all day. I said, man, that is my dream. That's what that is what I want to do when I said, you're my idol. And now I'm doing it.
Guys, I on behalf of the school system, because I'm still employed in the school system, thank you guys for what you all have done for us and always sponsoring our athletic teams, our schools. And I know at my school, whenever I've had kids or families that needed some help, you guys were always willing to help whenever you were asked, and never look for any recognition or praise. That speaks well of you, especially when you guys will take the time to help people that need it. I mean, I know you guys have recognized the fact that you've been very blessed and you've been very successful, and the fact that you have always been willing to extend that to other people. I certainly appreciate that.
We thank you for buying a car from us.
Well, in probably another 2 years or so, I'm going to have to come back and get me another one.
Okay, good.
Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Just want to remind you guys, if there's somebody you would like to have on Storytellers, you can email me at dleach@acs.ac. You can email Ryan Sutton at rsutton@acs.ac. And tune in the next month or so, and we'll have another guest for ACTV Storytellers. On behalf of myself, Darren Leach, and Ryan Sutton, I'd like to thank Ronnie and Stanley Fox for coming in and being our guest for the 15th episode of Storytellers.